Hello, family, friends, Instagram, YouTube. It's Darrell Douglas with New Media Texas, and we're here with Houston mayoral candidate Eric Dick. If you've been in Houston any amount of time, I'm pretty sure you've seen his signs. They're everywhere. He has a really good team that's out there putting his stuff everywhere. So, if you want to introduce yourself to the people in YouTube land.
Sure. I'm Eric Dick. I'm a native Houstonian. I've lived in Houston all of my life, save and except 3 years I went to law school up in Michigan. What I do for a living, maybe I'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
I'm an insurance lawyer.
Okay.
Actually, I started out doing door law.
Huh.
It's door law is whatever kind of comes in the door.
I was wondering what that is. I'm like, you go door to door. Okay.
No. You set up a shingle, and it's whatever comes to the door. It ends up being like a lot of criminal law and divorce and personal injury. And then, kind of over time, I've changed it to doing just insurance law. And what that is like if there's you have a claim or the insurance company don't want to pay the claim,
Mm-hmm.
and I look at it and I generally sue them and get the homeowner made whole or the policy made whole.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy that a lot. It's kind of you get to help someone out. It's real positive.
Okay.
You're usually it's someone that kind of has been taken advantage of to some point, been
Mhm.
paying into the system for a while, and
Okay.
they just didn't want to pay. So that's
Okay.
what I do for a living. I enjoy it.
Okay. So I noticed that Houston's municipal seats are all nonpartisan, but on all of your blue and white signs it says Eric Dick, Republican, for mayor. Is there a certain reason why you wanted to make the distinction?
Yeah, because one thing, it's at the very best nominally nonpartisan.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, there's a few reasons I did that. The first is I just wanted to be honest. I wanted to be upfront. I wanted to be candid. There's a variety of Democrat groups, and they cannot endorse Republicans if they do. The Democrat Party will shun them. And if you look in the example with Lloyd Oliver,
Okay.
he got kicked off the ballot. He was a Democrat, and he said something, and he literally got kicked off the ballot from the Democrat side.
Okay.
So the first thing, I just wanted to be candid and upfront. And the second thing is, we just need to be honest with this because it's not nonpartisan.
Okay.
At least the current administration is anything but nonpartisan. I say that because she's attacked the Republican Party, the local Republican Party with Jared Woodfill. She's also attacked, she's nationally attacked, or at least statewide attacked Rick Perry. She's been the most partisan mayor we've ever had, ever.
Huh.
I'd submit that respectfully.
Okay. So let me ask you this. She's basically 2 terms in. She's got 1 term left. What made you say, because I know you've run for different offices before, what made you say in 2013, I'm running for mayor? Like, what was that moment like, and what made you say you just had to jump in?
Someone has to do something. Think of it like this. What do you do for a living, Terrell?
I do a lot of different stuff, but I guess you could say consulting-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, say you're a consultant. You have a business, you have some costs,
Mm-hmm.
and you have some revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But when your costs, continue to exceed your revenue,
Mm-hmm.
you probably wouldn't be doing that anymore.
Right.
Okay. Now let's start with that idea. We have someone in office. She's a finance, allegedly really good in finance.
Mhm.
Allegedly,
Mm-hmm.
she's been in office for 16 years. Yet for the last 10, we've brought in more money than we spent more money than we brought in.
Okay.
That alone, just those 10 years, that's cost us $2.4 billion, right? And keep in mind, she has a big hissy fit
Pension.
about pensions. That's only $4 billion,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and that's complicated with the pensions. But just the fact that we have a structural deficit that's been going on, we will go bankrupt if we keep doing it. It's inevitable. It's 100% guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. And let me ask you this. I've read in the Houston Chronicle that especially dealing with pensions, because my father and my grandmother and a couple of aunts and uncles all work for the city, and my father is about to get ready to retire from the municipal pensions. So let's just say on day one or day 100 or 200, when it's actually time to deal with the structural deficit that's there, what's the first thing that a Mayor Dick would do?
Well, the first thing I would do, the first thing I will do when elected mayor, is I'll deal with the structural deficit. Because the structural deficit is what's hurting our pensions, what's hurting everything else. Basically, we need to change what we consider important that we're paying for. We need to, focus on the core aspects of the city, with that being public safety, our firefighters and police officers, our infrastructure, our streets, and that's the thing we've been neglecting if you drive around anywhere in this side of town or anywhere in the city, and then our basic city services.
So what's one thing that you would cut when you say 90 Central? What's some pork that you see that's just there?
Well, I do what a leader does, what an executive does, is you start with your own plate and you work your way out. I reduced some of my salary. I reduced the size of my office. She increased the size of her office from about $4 million when Bill White was mayor to about 14. Right?
Wow, I did not know. I didn't even know that.
Yes, and there's more than that. There's a city limo that she uses. She drives around and she campaigns in, and it's like a limo driver and an Escalade following it. That'd be gone. I just drive myself to work like I've always done, and then you have executives that are paid in the 240-ish range, and the way I feel about it is that's fine and dandy if we're running at a profit and the money's going good, but when times are tough, maybe we should look at what the salaries judges make, which is about $125,000 to $150,000, and we cap the salaries of the executives. I mean, this is just where you start off with. Then you work your way further. You look at we'd start off with just a basic formula: A, your absolutes, and we've talked about the absolutes, the core aspect of government. B, the stuff that's beneficial, and C, the stuff that's convenient. Stuff that's convenient is like art. And don't get me wrong, I love art. I think it's pretty to look at. I think it's great. But having said that, if we're talking about trying to give people what they are owed from their pension system versus buying paintings in in different departments. One of them was the permitting department. I believe they spent about $1 million of art in the permitting department. I'm sorry, but I'm probably not gonna spend anything in art.
Let me ask you this. There's a big hubbub about the federal disaster relief money that was sent from the federal government to the city for home repair. And I'm not sure if you were familiar with it, but a lot of groups were a little disappointed to find out that some of that money won't make it all the way to the homes. What's your opinion on that as a whole? Like just that idea of the federal government sending money to the city for home repair. And number two, what's your opinion on how the city's dealt with the money, from what you know?
Okay, and being an insurance lawyer, I know a little bit about this. I've actually represented a few people in claims. I think it's just a level of transparency. The things you should balance out. Is it more important giving this money to an apartment complex versus an individual? That'd be some type of balances you do. But the problem with how the city has run it is it hasn't been transparent, right? It's kind of hit the ball at where a lot of that money was spent. And that's wrong. It's wrong, especially whenever you're considering, homeowners and individuals that still have tarps on their houses, and they still have leaks coming in. First thing I'd say is, next time be insured. It's not that expensive to get insurance, but that's kind of what is it? What's happened in the past is it's a lot easier. You can't really deal with that, but we need to be transparent with that. We need to show exactly where the money's going and put priority over homeowners versus apartments and business owners. That's what I do.
Okay. And I guess now, just to shift gears, we're Facebook friends, and I enjoy every now and then when I log on, I see pictures of your beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
I'll get a smile out of that one. So, what's it been like being a new father and all that?
Now that is really cool. Let's see. I'll give you an example. Last night she woke me up. Maybe it was 1:30 or 2. She didn't really want to go to bed,
Mm-hmm.
but it's fun. It's given me a different perspective, and it's like I have all these memories kind of in my mind of whenever I was a little child,
Mm-hmm.
and every now and then something sparks out. I'm like, oh, I remember that, and it's underrated being a parent.
Huh.
It really is. It's hard. I mean, it is really hard.
That's what I hear.
But
That's what I hear.
it's so you have like this great this being that's looking to you for everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use this as a partial segue
Mm-hmm.
because one of the reasons I'm running, I really want the city to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do with that, and the reason I'm going into that is because the thought of leaving the city in a worse position
Mm-hmm.
than where we started out with to our children is a thought it's something we should really consider.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot, in good conscience, leave the city buried in debt for my children. And one of the problems with Detroit is all the suburbs were growing and kind of everyone started moving outside the city.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's interesting, we're about 25% of we have I think about 25% of the liability Detroit has. We actually do. And keep in mind we're in a structural deficit. If we keep going down the path, it's inevitable. But more importantly, what we should be considering, just being responsible, doing things we're supposed to do. And the suburbs are growing larger than the city itself. I think the city's growing about 3%. The suburbs are growing much higher. If we keep increasing taxes and fees, people are going to keep moving into the suburbs, and I don't blame them.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a really good deal in Katy. You get a really good deal in Sugar Land,
The woodland.
the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
There's a